Hi friends, welcome back. So I want to give you an update on what's going on in the 2024 presidential election. There are more calls for Biden to drop out, and now we have the Democrat House leader Hakeem Jeffries is meeting with Biden, probably to talk about said things. Guys, if you saw the most recent press conference with Biden, he looked pretty bad. He made a couple big gaffes here. This is a poll. First, we'll go over 56% of Democrats think Biden should quit race after the debate, and that's after the debate. I don't know if this includes the bad press comments that he gave, but we also have this one as well. 58% of respondents say both candidates are too old to run. I've been in this camp for a long time. If you also watch my channel, you'll know. I don't talk about politics all the time, but we can't ignore it as we're getting this close to the election. So what were the mistakes that Biden made? You guys probably heard about this. He referred to Kamala Harris. He made the mistake and said Vice President Trump, and then referred to Zelensky. Made the mistake of talking about President Putin. It just doesn't look good. You know, if it's like one time, you know, once a year, not a big thing, but it's like happening more frequently. And if you just watch him, he just looks old. There's no other way to put it. We even saw. I even showed my wife the clip. And we saw this part where like he asked a question. He says, "Hey, you know, are you going to quit?" And then Biden's answer was like, if you know, my advisors come to me and say that the polls show that you can't win, yeah, I'll definitely quit. And it's just like the way that he said that, it's just really, really weird. So we'll see. I mean, this is the drama. This is not a normal thing in U.S. politics. This whole election is not a normal thing. We haven't been normal, I don't know, in the last 10 years, you could argue, but it is the world that we live in. These are some interesting odds, though, that Harris is catching up to Biden. So this one's coming from Predict It. We also have another poll. Let's see, where does this come from? I want to say this is Real Clear Politics. Don't quote me on this one. I can't remember where this one comes from. But it does show that Trump is 42.3%, Biden at 40.5%. I got this from the Economist, but I think they were quoting someone else. And then Kennedy at 9.1%, which is actually kind of interesting. Now, these are national polls. It doesn't necessarily include the swing states, which really matter in an election. And I showed you guys that before, though. I think the last poll we looked at with swing states was from Bloomberg, but it showed Trump leading in all but 2 states in terms of swing states. I actually remember, and I don't want to talk about the Kennedy thing here. I actually remember this because I'm 49. You guys might know this. Some people think I'm like in my 20s or something, but no, I'm 49. And I remember the Ross Perot thing. For those of you old enough, you can chime in. You know what your thoughts on this one was. There were 3 people when it came down to the final debates, and actually I grew up in Oregon, and I think Perot did the best out of any state in Oregon. And again, you guys correct me. I think it was Oregon though. I remember he did well there, but ultimately Clinton did win. But I think it was under 50%, which is kind of interesting. So that's a thing that can happen in an election when you have more than 2 candidates, is then you get a winning candidate, because you could win. You could win with, say, with like 37% or 40% if the other two, say, so for example, if Clinton gets 40 and the other two get 30, right? Because it adds up to 30 plus 30 is 60, and then Clinton gets 40, right? He's the majority in terms of more votes than the others, but not majority in terms of the entire country, right? You guys get my point on that. When I talk about this stuff, I like to just talk about numbers and how can I say, talk this in a way that we can have a reasonable conversation. Sadly, in USA, I don't know, people just throw all of their rationality out the window and start talking like mad men and mad women and get really emotional on this stuff. And this is sort of why I try to bring some sensibility to these conversations and just show you guys numbers and have real, honest conversations about this stuff. These are some betting odds, and it's interesting because we have a name drop out and then names being added, etc. So at the moment, at least according to this one, betting odds: Trump is 11-18. I'm talking about odds here. Biden 8-1. Kamala Harris is 9-2, and Gavin Newsom 20-1. My wife keeps asking about, is Michelle going to run? She does. I think this would be the name that would probably excite the base, but I don't think she's going to do it. So if anyone, at least that's what it seems like that's being pushed right now, is maybe Kamala would be the one, and then Gavin Newsom. So I would agree with these are the 4 names that we're looking at here. It is a crazy situation though, because we also have Trump, who's the felon. You guys know this, and also too, I'm well aware, guys, on YouTube. I understand there's a lot of people who hate mainstream media, that kind of stuff, and they use that kind of language, and therefore they go to YouTube to find their news, and so they're like, oh, Chris, why are you so mean? This whole thing's a sham, etc. But I mean, I can see a felony. It's right there, and this is the first time that it's happened. And regardless of your point of view on that, I mean, usually for any regular candidate anywhere in the world, if you're messing with porn stars and having these weird scandals, usually that ends your political career. But in USA, hey, that's business as normal, and and you can't deny that. Like it's like this is the election that we're in. It's so bizarre. And this is the one I wanted to show you today in this video. There's this fascinating poll coming from Pew. They show all this really interesting data, and it says here, headline, July 11th, amid doubts about Biden's mental sharpness, Trump leads presidential race. And then these are the polling data here. And they asked people, it's funny, only a quarter, talking about, what are the kind of the biggest weaknesses of these two. So for Biden, it's being, mentally sharp. And then for Trump, it's essentially being a liar, so not honest. And essentially, I thought this was really interesting. It said, so people who think Trump is mentally sharp, I guess you're at 58%. So, I mean, it's over 50. Hey, Biden, though, it's pretty quite low. To only 24% say Biden is mentally sharp here. And here, honest, Trump, only 36% people think Trump is honest. Only 48% think Biden is honest. So they're both under 50%. Cares about the needs of ordinary people. Biden beats Trump there, 49-44. But again, you're both under 50%, so not great. Negative traits. So these are the positive traits. These are things that you want. Being mentally sharp, being honest. All right, just think about the lows that we're in right now. That we're like asking, just basic things. Can I just find an honest person who can think and intelligent or mentally sharp? I don't know if mentally sharp means intelligent. I mean, you guys seem to be, or can I just find someone who just cares about regular people? I mean, this is what we're boiling down to here. Negative traits, right? Mean-spirited. 64% say Trump is mean. Only 31 say Biden is mean. Embarrassing. 63% for both candidates think that both candidates are embarrassing. And you put that together with the 58% that I showed you guys before that think both candidates are too old. So the stuff I've been saying, I'm in the majority, at least according to the polls. I always find it odd, though, guys. I think it's part of just how YouTube works, or any of these kind of social medias. You have people who are really adamantly political and they want to argue all the time on things that they really want to hear that their team is winning, etc. But I think there's a silent majority because I don't really do this. I don't go and just troll people all day every day on politics. It's not something I do. I have other things to do with my time. But that's what I said. I think the silent majority, and I think I'm in this. There's a lot of us that just think both these guys are embarrassing, and let's find two other candidates. So that I've been saying that the whole time, though. And I don't think that's anything crazy to say. But for whatever reason, again, you have people that get mad if you say one way or the other. Where the presidential race stands 4 months before the election. So this is on Pew. 40% either Biden or lean Biden, 44% Trump or lean Trump. And then the Kennedy is in here as well. 15% are going for Kennedy or lean Kennedy. What's this one here? Percentage of registered voters who say if there were only two candidates for president, how would they vote? 47% Biden, 50% Trump. So these are the kind of the recent data that we've been getting. Trump's been leading Biden in national polls, but again, look at the swing states, and Trump is actually leading the swing states here. So this is where that's where that one question where they asked Biden, hey, if it looks like you can't win, are you gonna drop out? And he's like, yeah, my advisors say so, I will. And he said it like in a weird way. And then now you got Hakeem Jeffries meeting with him. So we'll see. I mean, why not? You can replace him. I think the problem, though, and this is just a real thing, in just terms of how we do things in the USA. You replace him, and then we just got like the parties just picking someone. Not that doesn't happen, in prior elections. So, for example, in my opinion, I feel like the Democrats and Hillary basically bullied Bernie Sanders out of the nomination. So, and I'd love to hear your opinion on that one. So and I think that's a case to where, and it's not unusual. And even look at this election, something I harped on the whole time. I thought Trump should have been required to show up at the Republican debates. Just honestly, guys, just think how weird that is to have an election and a primary and like not have all the candidates there. It just should just if you're going to have a party and have an election, it just should be part of the requirements. You got to come to the debates. I don't think anything crazy. And it's weird, like, people in that camp are just like, oh, Chris, you're just so dumb. Trump can do whatever he wants. I just find the whole thing ludicrous. So, and to be fair to the other side, I thought it was ludicrous that no Democrat came up and stood to oppose Biden and have a primary there. So I think our whole system is messed up. And unfortunately, at the moment, I just feel like the parties just pick whoever, and people, go along, and you got a bunch of people that are apathetic, and our situation's poor right now. You can read this in here. Voters are highly critical of presidential campaign. Here's a question here, or sentiment, I guess you'd say. Does not make you feel proud of the country. 87% are in that camp, and so this was regarding the current election, right? Is not focused on important policy debates. 76% of the people are in that camp. I'm all in agreement with this stuff. It is too negative. 68%. I'm full agreement with all these things. Guys, like I said, I say all the time, I wish I could run. I can't. It is what it is. It's a long discussion. I'll just keep it really simple. I don't look the way that people want you to look. If you're going to run for president of the United States, I'll leave it at that. If you're smart enough, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. But that's just the reality. It's no mistake that sort of candidates that are in contention look certain ways. I'll leave it at that. So people get too upset if I mention the truth in this stuff, but it's real. And it's regarding the things that people care about. I honestly, like, for me, would be home affordability. We should be talking about those kind of things, and what kind of policies would you mention? Be, hey, let's get Wall Street out of single family homes. It's when you have investor money and speculative money into those kind of things, or the meet Kevin scammy money, that kind of stuff, it pushes out regular families, right? And you're competing with groups of investors against you, right? Or groups of investors that want to turn your whole neighborhood into rentals, that kind of stuff. So that's a simple policy thing that I would be harping on. I'm actually for more bank regulations. That's just me, right? These are just political things that I think, I guess the regular voter doesn't care about. I care about, preserving Social Security, keeping my drug costs down, that kind of stuff. Not getting involved in too many foreign conflicts that we don't need to be spending money on. Again, these kind of things, it's I don't know, people get so emotional about this kind of stuff. If you want to, just talk about, what I care about. If you want to talk about the immigration stuff, so this is something that no one ever talks about. If you really want to enforce it, and I mentioned you guys before, ask Meet Kevin, ask Mr. Trump, say, hey, do any of your companies hire illegal workers? Do any of the third-party companies that you use hire illegal workers, right? Make a pledge, make a promise, do a full audit, and if you're hiring these kind of people, and if you are, find these companies. So I said, if you're really concerned about that particular issue, that's how you would enforce it. You would make the penalties really, really stiff for employing these kind of people. But instead, people say, oh, we're just going to build a bunch of walls, and it doesn't work. So the immigration thing, it's, you guys can make your determination on how important that is to you. The whole debate is really messy, because you're dealing with different, USA is a country of immigrants, so you're dealing with all types of situations. I can just tell you guys, and it's a complicated topic, but I made a video about it, and it's always a discussion. I'm American, my wife is a Korean, we married. I had a really, really difficult time with my wife's whole green card situation. She couldn't live with me in the USA. It was a whole fiasco, and it just turned out to be better just to live in Korea together. So it's a whole issue, and we're trying to do things the right way, etc. And the way our system works is I don't want to get into it. Let's just say it's a mess, and that's just one factor. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that is a mess, and very few people have honest conversations about these things, and it's a shame. It's about any number of things, any number of issues, and I wish there were more adults in the room, but at the moment, the way our politics works and the way U.S. culture works, it's all about the memes and the stuff like that. And so that's why, someone like Elon Musk can be very popular, because he's really good at memes. I mean, that's what people want, right? People want entertainment TV, and it is what it is. So, I can go on and on about this stuff, but I do feel exactly like these people, right? I'm not proud of what's going on in the country regarding the election. No one's talking about anything seriously, and it is too negative. Yes, and yes. What's this one? Biden supporters have grown more likely to say they would replace both candidates if they could. Okay, so replace both. 49% are, oh, that was in April. Now in July, 53% of voters say we should replace both. So again, this is the majority. I'm in this camp. Among, if you ask the Biden people, should we replace both candidates? We're saying 71% are saying we should replace both candidates. And then Trump supporters, actually kind of interesting, they're saying only 26%. So they're saying stick with Trump, I guess. Keep both. Yeah, they're in the keep both camp. So it's interesting polls. And then you also have this one as well. Kennedy supporters, right? So I think there are people out there who like the Kennedy guy. The thing is, though, I don't know the demographics exactly of the Kennedy supporters, but they're basically saying that they're less engaged. So it really matters who wins. So, Kennedy supporters, they agree with that statement. 39%, it's not that many. They're extremely motivated to vote, also very low, 21%. They thought a lot about the candidates, 32%, and they're satisfied with the candidates this year. That's at 9%, right? And then this was the one that we started with, the mentally sharp and the honest. So Trump is actually perceived as more mentally sharp. It's quite interesting here. Went from 50 to 58, and then Biden's mentally sharp dropping from 53 now to only 24. Right, you can see right there. So that's the big negative for him. And then the honest part, Trump has improved. Well, it's about flat. I mean, he was at 36% thought Trump was honest, and the 35, and now we're at 36% again. And Biden's honest at 48%. So we're both under 50. And that's what we face. It is a frustrating world. I do try to focus on markets and money and these kind of things, but you can't ignore the elections. How's it going to affect immediately? You're probably talking about tariffs, right? Where we stand on tariffs relationship with China. Also, too, we talk about, say, like Tesla and stuff like that. The EV tax credits, those would be up to debate. Any kind of infrastructure spending. What's going to happen with regulation on monopolies, be it in tech, Microsoft, Apple, Google, these kind of things. You could even look at, FTC doing going against Ticketmaster, right? So oftentimes for people who are on this side, they say, Trump is so business friendly, etc. So if when they say that, I don't know if they really get the full ramifications of that stuff. So in this camp would be looser bank regulations. Let's lend out money to everybody. Let's cut interest rates to zero. Let's get more money into the system, et cetera, that kind of thing. Let's let big companies buy small companies, no problem. All these kind of things. So on the opposite would be Biden. Let's regulate these things. Let's tax companies more, right? I'm telling you, the difference in this stuff. And you can make cases for these kind of things. You can make cases for both of these kind of things. But unfortunately, very few people are rational and have honest conversation about this stuff. If you notice, I leave out large chunks of what is argued in American politics because, frankly, I don't care about most of the stuff that these people talk about. I just don't. When I talk to my friends and stuff like that, we have like real conversations about minimum wage, which I think is a real conversation about tax policy, this kind of stuff. But most of the discussion in USA is about extracurricular things, and I don't even want to mention it, but what the stuff that we're talking about. So it's unfortunate that's our state of American politics, and in my opinion, talk very little about the stuff that really matters. But I think that shows you where Americans' mind are, and then Americans just get really angry all the time and just always looking for someone to blame. I say this really clearly, and I'll say it again. This is why you just really need to take care of yourself, take care of your family, and do not expect either of these people or either of these parties to save you. Just don't count on it, right? I don't know what these people are gonna do. I can't predict the election 100%. I mean, it's hard to what's gonna happen in the future for this kind of stuff. So that's why you need to ensure that you're okay, right? Don't overcommit on any kind of things, right? Spend less than you make, right? Always be saving something, putting some money into savings, putting some money into the market, right? Go on some safe index funds, this kind of stuff. If you want to embed individual stocks, you can, no problem. Do what you like with your money. But also we try to do in the channel is don't believe all of the hype or the BS out there. And there's a lot of it, unfortunately. So I'll make a market video right after this. I just want to go over this data because this was one of the first polls that I thought really hit the nail on the head in capturing sort of where we are. Please share your thoughts on this. Thanks for time, everyone. And I'll catch you all in the next video.